I'm Sayeef. I've edited for over 150 YouTubers, 30 of whom had between 1 and 70 million subscribers. So these are going to be the 6 lessons that I've learned after editing for these famous guys. Number 1 is realize that these people want to pay you more. The reason that this starving artist archetype exists is because artists fundamentally believe and editors believe that if you charge less, more people will want you. And while that is technically true for most things, like for example, if you're selling a water bottle for $2 and your competitor is selling it for $10, if they're the same water bottle and the same water, more people are going to want to buy your bottle. But if you look at other products, higher end products, you realize that the price going up actually increases its value. Let me explain. Let's say you got a $200,000 Ferrari. A lot of people like Ferraris, a lot of people want it. If that $200,000 Ferrari became a $400,000 Ferrari, so that's how much they charge for it now, in a weird way, more people would now want it. The fact that it is expensive is part of the value. And that's what we call a Veblen good. And edits worked in the exact same way. Let's say you've got a tiny creator and they have a tiny budget. Yes, if you go lower in your price, they're going to want you more. But for the highest and largest creators and largest clients, if you try doing that same thing, it just becomes almost unbelievable, like in a bad way. Let's say you're trying to buy a Ferrari and they say it's going to be $5,000. You would be like, okay, there's probably something wrong with the Ferrari. It probably doesn't run. It's probably just for parts. In the same way, that's how clients see you if you try going lower and lower just for the sake of trying to close them. And I had this first-hand experience where it was for a client that I reached out to initially. They're about a 20 million subscriber client. I reached out. They were like, hey, we like your work. How much do you charge? What's your day rate? And I thought of the biggest number I could at the time. I've heard of people charging like $1,000. I've heard of people charging like 100, 120 a day. So I thought, okay, these guys are a 20 million subscriber channel. They can probably afford a lot. I'm going to give the biggest number I can. I said £250 a day. So sort of like, okay, that's a big number in my mind. They replied, which I didn't even expect. And they said, oh, our minimum day rate is $275 for junior editors. Junior editors meaning someone just joined the company. I have never had an experience where I gave a price and they literally said like, oh no, we're not willing to pay that. We have to pay more. All my life, I have been working with clients where I would give a price and they would like offer half of that number. This was the first time they actually shot upwards. And it was after a few weeks of working together, we actually ended up going to £500 a day, which is around $600 or $700 a day. And it was literally within a couple of weeks. So it's like, realize that the largest clients, they actually want to pay more. And by you charging less, you actually lose credibility, even though you thought I would be more likely to close them. So that's the first thing. Realize that people with big budgets, they want to spend more. And if you try charging less, you're just going to end up scaring them away. The second lesson that I learned is when you're working with larger YouTubers, there is less leverage in gaining more skills. So you know how throughout your entire editing career, you're thinking, how can I learn more tools? How can I watch more tutorials? How can I make these edits as best as possible? When you're working with the largest guys, and I'll tell you this as someone who's been there, that's a given. Like, obviously you're going to be able to edit the video. Otherwise you wouldn't have even been considered for the role. But in order to actually keep them, you are more valued on, excuse my French, but your ability to figure shit out on your own. So instead of like having to bring something to the team and be like, hey, there's this bug that's happening, I don't know how to fix it. It's your ability to just fix it and the whole team just doesn't know. It's the ability to say, okay, a video needs to be out by Sunday. And it's Saturday, 8 p.m. and you've got like 5 hours left until it has to be sent over to YouTube or to the quality control team. It has to be sent on that time. And you're probably going to need like double the time. It's your ability to be like, well, fuck it, I'm going to figure out how to make it happen and we're going to get this video through. I'm telling you now, especially on the back end of a lot of these large teams, it is a mess, but it's held together by A players who are able to just, everyone's like able to figure their own shit out, so everything's happy. I like to say the same thing whenever I'm doing edit reviews. So a lot of the time, editors come to me and they're like, okay, I have an edit, can you give me like feedback, like what should I do? And oftentimes when they're explaining their thought process behind an edit, they're telling me that, oh, I actually like didn't know how to do this thing. Could you just show me how we do it? So we jump into editing software, we jump in Premiere Pro or After Effects, and I sort of show them like, okay, here's how I would have approached it. And while I'm doing it, there's always like bugs that come up. This thing doesn't sit right. Like there's this effect that normally it should do this, but for some reason, like Premiere decides to mess itself up. And I sort of like patch it together. Not in the way that you're supposed to, but in terms of like, okay, let's say you do like a rotoscope of something, you try and mask it out, and then for some reason there's this little corner that keeps like bugging out. You could fix the mask, or you could like just crop a little bit from another part of the scene and just like overlay it on that part. Like everything's sort of duct taped together while I'm doing it. And even when I look at other big editors like workflows and I speak with them behind the scenes and they're giving me a breakdown of their work, I see the exact same thing. Like no big edits are as clean as you think they are. Like for a viewer, yes, it looks clean. But on the back end, it's basically everything being held together by a thread and everything's duct taped together. The entire edit is duct taped together. The truth is like, you're kind of paid to figure shit out and just make it as seamless as possible for the rest of the team and the viewer. That's what you're getting paid for, because at the highest levels, everyone can edit. Like they can pay anyone, they have the budget to basically get any editor in the world. What they're looking for is someone with initiative. So that's the second lesson I learned. The third lesson is communication will save your ass in a lot of cases, but it's important that you know when to communicate and how. You're going to get in sticky situations when you're an editor. You're going to miss deadlines. You're going to have a event, or like someone's going to have some medical emergency in your life and you can't finish a video. It is completely normal. But how you handle that situation will determine whether you get kept on the team or not. Because these things happen and they understand it, but if you handle it like most editors, you're never going to stay on these big teams. So what does good communication look like? In my opinion, it's just let people know that something's going to go wrong before it goes wrong, not after. If you're going to miss a deadline, tell them before you miss the deadline, not literally 5 minutes before, or worst case, after. So before a bad thing happens, just make sure you're communicating clearly. I recommend, even if a video has like a 2, 3, 4 day deadline, still give them daily updates or even multiple daily updates. Just saying like, hey, just letting you know I've downloaded the footage. Hey, just letting you know I've cut this part up. Hey, just letting you know I haven't finished the visuals yet, but I've just started on them. Like being able to have that communication cadence, even if they haven't actively asked for it, what it does is if something goes wrong, you now have more leeway. Think about it like this. Let's say you have one person that you've just met and they promised that they would have this thing handed for you. Like they promised that they would give you $5 because they owe you for something and they'll give it. Cool. If they don't give it, you're going to be mad at them because they promised something and they didn't do it. Compared to the person where you lend them $5, they say, okay, after a week, I'll hand you this $5 back. And every single day for the next 7 days, they basically make micro promises and keep that micro promise. They say, hey, let's actually meet in this cafe at this time. And they're there at the exact time and you're there too. Awesome. They say that, hey, I'm just letting you know, like, I will be able to drop you off from here to here. They actually do drop you off from here to here. Like they have all these like tiny little set expectations, meet expectations, set expectation, meet expectations. And it doesn't even have to be a big thing. Oh, I'll call you at this time. They actually call you at that time. Let's say after 7 days, they're not able to pay you back to $5. They say, hey, I just need 2 days more. I'm just sorting something out. You wouldn't mind as much because you know they're the type of person that keeps their word. In the same way with editing, if you miss a deadline, it's a lot bigger of a deal if you have had a history of not communicating. But if you've been communicating every single day and something messes up, they will be more lenient. So communicate throughout the entire process, not just when things go wrong. Now, the fourth lesson is based a lot in client acquisition. So I hear all the time editors saying they struggle to get clients. It's the biggest problem that I deal with. I speak with thousands of editors every single year. Like last year, one-to-one, I spoke to over 3,000 editors. We have a group as well where it's like one-to-one mentorship as well. So it's like I speak to a lot of editors. Number one problem is they're not able to get clients. Now, here's the thing. The only difference between you editing as a hobby versus you actually doing this as a career, the only thing that separates those two people is can you get clients or not? So if a lot of editors are struggling with clients, clearly that's a bad thing, right? Now, editors struggle to find clients or struggle to even find people to reach out to because they feel that anyone good already has an editor, so it's not worth reaching out. But I've found that the exact opposite is true. The fact that someone already has an editor makes them the best type of client. In like the dating space, this is actually called pre-selection, where it's like, the best way to get a girl into you is basically show her that other girls are into you, or at least that you have like female friends. Because in her like primitive brain, it's basically, oh, other girls trust him, therefore it's safe for me to trust him as well. Compared to the guy where she's like, every single girl that he speaks to basically runs in the other direction. There's probably a reason why I'm not going to speak to him. It's pre-selection. Like you want to show that, like the fact that other girls like you makes her like you as well. In a weird way, like when a client has other editors, there's a reason why they have other editors. It means they're able to afford them, which means they're going to be able to pay you. It means they're posting enough content to actually have those editors, meaning they're going to be able to give you consistent work as well. And it means they already have a proven system in place for editing content, which means that you're going to be picking up for a proven process rather than piecing things together as you go. So the fact that someone already has editors on the team doesn't make them a bad person to work with. It makes them the best type of person to work with. So realize that, the fact that someone already has an editor, that is a good thing. Number 5, subscribers do not correlate to how much you're going to get paid. This is a pretty simple one. I've had times where someone has 1 million subscribers, like quite literally like multi-million subscribers. They reach out to me, we go through the conversation, and I pitch my price. I say, hey, it's going to be $900, whatever. They say, oh, my budget was $50. On the other hand, I've also had guys where I think he had like 50 followers. No, he had 2 followers on Twitter when he reached out to me, and he had 50 subscribers on the channel. He paid me over $2,000 a video, and these videos were about the same difficulty. So, million subscriber channel, $50. 50 subscriber channel, $2,000. You do not know how much someone is going to be paying you before you have the entire sales conversation with them. And I call this the prejudgment paradox. When you prejudge a lead, a person that you could potentially work with, you sort of force it into existence. So for example, if you talk to a small channel as if they are a small channel and they cannot afford your rates, you're going to almost like manifest it into existence. I don't believe in the whole manifestation thing, but like the fact that you think they can't pay a lot will make you ask for a lower rate, which will mean you'll get paid less because you can only get paid as much as you charge, meaning that you kind of forced it into existence, if that makes sense. So don't prejudge people. Like just because they're a big channel doesn't mean you should charge more or less. Like charge whatever you would for that video. And just because they're a small channel doesn't mean you should charge more or less. Like charge a lot, no matter who it is, given that you can actually back it up with your work. Like don't prejudge leads. And the last lesson is don't burn bridges. Let's say you give that large price and you're not able to work with them just because budgets didn't align. Don't post it on Twitter. God, I've seen some people do that. Like these editors, some of them are they're actually retarded. Like they will have someone who can't afford their services, and what they will do is they'll go onto like Instagram or Twitter or their story and they'll be like, oh, I can't believe people would charge this much, haha. Like take the piss out of this client. And here's the thing, I have had people like that. There was this guy, I'm not going to mention his name because I feel like I'm being a bit of a dick just by saying it, but there was a guy, we go through the client sales conversation. I price $650 per video. I was charging around $300 at a time, so I was like, for this to be worth it, I'd have to do $650. He was like, dude, that's honestly like way out my budget. I didn't like laugh at him. I didn't just like close the conversation. All I did is I said, no worries, man, I completely understand. Would you like me to refer you a few other editors? He said, sure. I referred him someone else. 6 months later, he actually came back to me and he paid even more than I originally asked. Imagine I did some stupid move, like I just like was a bit rude to him, or worse yet, I posted about him saying how he couldn't pay. Like, don't burn down a bridge just because they can't pay you. The best thing you could do in that situation, refer them another editor that you trust, because that way you actually get the goodwill from that conversation, from that interaction. It's sort of like this. Let's say that you needed help with something in the gym, like you needed help with understanding how to bench press. If I send you a video showing you how to bench press and you find value in that video and you get a huge chest because of that, in a weird way, you're going to attribute some of those gains to me. I have barely done anything. All I did is send you a link, but if you believe that that video helped you, I get some of that goodwill. Like you like me slightly more just because of that. In the same way, when you refer someone an editor because they couldn't afford you, it's like if they have a good interaction with that editor, you now gain that goodwill and your relationship with the client actually gets better, even though you've done none of the work. Like all you've done is send them a tag. So like being able to just not burn down bridges, it's a huge thing, especially as you work with larger clients. Because oftentimes like the medium to large clients, like sort of like 500K to like 5-10 mil, you'll realize that they have already proven to themselves and the world that they are dedicated to actually growing. So there's been so many times where someone will be at like 500,000 subscribers, I'll reach out to them, they can't afford me, no worries. And then like 6 months later, they're at like 3 or 4 million and now they can afford me. So yeah, don't burn down bridges, especially with the larger clients, because they grow pretty fast and their budgets usually improve pretty quickly. So just refer them an editor if they can't afford you. So those are the 6 lessons, and I hope you enjoyed this.